Hello, everybody. I'm Cass Santana from Line Owner Tapes, and this is Class Experience. Today, we are here with Federico. And again, I do these Q&As because I want actors to kind of dispel the experience of auditioning, especially for commercials, which is what we're going to talk about today. And Federico, hello.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, thank you so much for this. Muchas gracias por hacer esto.
No, no hay problema. Buenas tardes.
Federico, actually, so he comes from the advertising or the agency world when it comes to commercials, and he focuses on the Latin market. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And I'm going to be asking him all kinds of questions.
Go ahead.
Federico, we're going to Spanglish it up because I feel like the people that are going to be watching this are going to know both languages. Pero
Okay.
Federico, tell me a little bit about yourself, your background, and in agency, so on and so forth.
Okay. Well, I'm from Uruguay. I started working on advertising like 16 years ago. I'm a copywriter. So I'm the one who writes all the things that you get eventually.
Yes.
And then I moved to Mexico. I worked there for several agencies. Let's say, not my focus. My career made me focus in cars and car commercials.
Okay.
For several of those brands, some beer commercials here and there. But now I'm focusing on especially in car commercials for Toyota.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I work here in Los Angeles, and I do a little bit of everything: TV, social media, whatever it has to be written, I do it.
So you deal with Mariela, no?
No, Mariela is from, let's say, it's one part of the account.
Uh-huh.
I launch the new models, do sustain campaigns for previous models. But
cool.
Mariela is a thing on her own. There's
wow.
a specific team that works on that. I get to do, I don't know, the new Tacoma, and I come up with the idea for that, or Corolla, or all the other vehicles. I did the last Prius campaign, the Tacoma campaign. I work
wow.
for many vehicles. Yeah.
So, okay, cool. That's so interesting to know that they're like, even within a world of an automobile, there's different worlds within that.
Yes, because they say that the Mariela character is really specific to that part of the year and that type of selling event.
Okay.
My part is little. I have more storytelling to do because I don't have a character like that I have to tailor my scripts. I do a human story around the vehicle and try to put the vehicle as the hero of that story.
Okay. I'm learning so much about advertising. I did an interview with Griselle, and she said that there was like a thing called insight, and I'm like, I don't even know what that is. And so it's interesting to see the different perspectives of the work, and we just kind of get a breakdown and we go and we do the commercial. And
yeah, oh no, yeah, my part, I have to justify every step of the way of every decision that I made. So I have to focus on like a human truth that is the insight. What part of our human everyday life I can apply to a vehicle, and I'm trying to blend that human truth with an attribute of the vehicle. So the story that I write, it feels natural. It's easier to relate to.
Yeah, even though you're like essentially selling something, you gotta put it in a bow or wrap it around storytelling, right? Or something that people can relate to that will help them think like, oh, I want to like live this, I want to have this, so on and so forth.
Yes, I mean, in my opinion, for example, to buy a car or to like, we don't need as many things as we have, but there's, as humans, we have something to fill this hole that sometimes we feel inside, and we end up doing that by buying new stuff. And this not, I don't think that buying things is irrational. decision that we make. It's something that is more personal. It's not every ad will be about the price, and those ads that have the price front and center would sell more, and that's not the case. The things that sell more are the ones that are more human and you relate in different aspects of it. So that's I'm not going to say that I focus on that, but that's what I prefer to focus on.
Yeah.
I'm not in advertising to sell. I'm in advertising to try to tell stories and craft, because that's what I like to do. Yeah. Selling is something that happens later on. I like to write, and that's it.
I understand. Okay, so you are part of the process when it comes to casting an actor, correct?
Yes. I'm the one who has to write the casting specs. I pick the actors. I'm not by myself. We have a team. I'm the copywriter. I have an art director that I work with. There are so many layers, but yes, one of the decision makers on that.
One of the decision makers.
I killed a lot of. I see the options, and I make the records, the backups, and then I send to client and I justify why this actor is best for this role and who doesn't, or why I want.
And a lot of actors always wonder how many actors do you see per role on a first call, like on the first time that you get to see a bunch of self-tapes? About how many self-tapes do you see?
Well, it depends on the project. For example, last project, we already had the main character.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna tell you too much about it because
please, be general. Be general.
It's gonna air in a couple of months, but I saw day one, I saw 140. Day two, I saw 180. And after that, I saw the options, felt that I needed some more, so I requested more, like 20 more on day three. Yeah.
For one role or for different roles?
For, let's say, 4 roles, 2 roles per commercial. I start a campaign with 2 commercials, and let's say they were, how I'm gonna say, like a glorified extra. There's not the main character was a musician and another character was a soccer player, but these were their friends of the main character. And I saw that many options. I don't know, on the previous one, I think I saw like 400 videos. That's insane. For the main role. But that's something that happens here. When I work for other countries or when I work in Mexico, I like to ask the director, like, okay, you take a look at that first round. Give me your recommendations. Give me a short list of all these talents. So I can see also the vision of the director, and I see if our visions are aligned, or if he's going somewhere else that I don't like, or something that I didn't thought about it, and it's good.
I want to make sure. Oh my God. So, okay. Sorry, I got confused. We're recording. Me dio un miedo de momento. I was like, I'm not recording.
No. A mí me sale que estamos grabando.
Perfecto. Okay, diantre. Huepa. Okay. Okay, great. So I have a question about that. I'm so glad you brought this up. So sometimes there's like characters that are not the hero or the most important character.
Yeah.
Do you tend to, I don't know. I've just had situations where I've been the hero and sometimes I've been the friend, and it's like you're on set y hay veces como que yo estoy como que I want to make sure I make the end shot, because if not, we don't get residuals.
Yeah.
Pero how do you think you pick those like secondary characters? I know it depends on the project, but would you do it the same as you would the primary character or the hero?
No, it's not the same. Let's say, I would focus more on the look, and the attitude for, let's say, a secondary character.
Okay.
If I see somebody that is is giving me main character energy, for me that might be an issue later on. So it depends. When you give directions to an actor, if really want to be the main character, you're stealing part of the
Es
attention.
demasiado. Yeah, you're kind
Sí,
of, you're taking away from el punto of the commercial, right? Okay.
I try to keep that in mind. If I have to pick like a main role, then no, that's different. I focus more on the nuances of the face, for example. I don't like actors who overact. It's not theater that we're doing, that you need to really show expression and everything. In my case, I like the little things. And that's why we are looking for the agency I work now.
I feel like a lot of times actors feel that commercials are like very big, and I tell them like, no, it's a slice of life, it's a moment. And I think at times they treat film and TV differently than they do commercials as far as like bigness or expression. Obviously, you have like a commercial tone, right? Pero tampoco es como que tienes que decir, el nuevo Polvari, you know, it's not that.
No, it's not that. At least that's not what I like. Then you have different creators are gonna tell you different things, or something. Sometimes a different project requires that.
Okay.
I try not to do it because, for example, you are driving a car. No, and this happens to me all the time. Okay, they show me the videos, the casting videos. Okay, drive the car, and you see people like grabbing the steering wheel and putting a face driving the car. That's for me too much, because when I drive,
you're just driving.
I'm just driving.
Exacto.
I'm not feeling the engine and the driving experience. No, the driving experience are the little moments that happen. And maybe if the situation requires that you react to something, then yes, I look at that. But for me, when I see somebody like really focusing on driving and putting a fake smile, that kills. I lose my attention. That's it. I focus on something else. And when I have to check 140 videos in 2 hours, I have to grab pretty quickly those things.
So do you watch each tape in its entirety? Because you have 2 hours, or if you see that somebody just doesn't have it, you move on to the next tape. Does that happen sometimes?
Yeah, that happens. Sometimes you see the tape right away. And for example, if somebody overreacts the first second, I think that's too much. For me, that kills that option. But maybe if the look is good or really works, I give that video a chance and I watch it a little longer. But the issue is that I don't have time to do everything, to check everything. It's too much. That's why I like to ask the director to do a filter first.
Yeah, I would understand that. And about how many people do you tend to call back for a role in a project on average?
I like to use, I don't know how many, it depends. We have 8 hours, then I try to fill the 8 hours for callback. Then I need as many options as I can there. For callbacks, I like to push the casting agency, and I like to push my producer to have as many options as possible on that day.
Okay.
For the video casting that I have to do and I have to check that, I prefer to have less options so I can focus more on the acting of each person. But sometimes it's not possible. And
how many people do you guys tend to put on a veil, like once you have the callback?
No, recon backup.
Dos nada más.
Dos, sí.
Okay.
O per role.
Per role.
Yeah, because I have to give the client an option.
Claro.
Yeah. But for example, I answer to my boss, you know, it's a hierarchy, you know, a democracy, it's a company. So I grab, I don't know, like maybe it depends on the project, it depends on if it's more complicated, I might pick more options, but sometimes I choose more, but always I will show the client 2 options, reco and backup. That's how I like to work.
Okay. And then, so you make that decision with, you know, your group, your I'm thinking the
Mhm.
director as well, and then you present that to the product people, right? And then they say yes, or they go, no, let's look at the backup. And then from there, you guys decide.
Yes, exactly like that. Yeah.
Okay. And are your campaigns, do they tend to mirror the general market one most of the time, or are they completely different?
No, most of it happens, but most of the time are completely different. Because I have to focus on the Hispanic market, I try to that insight, that human truth,
Yeah.
try to be tailored to Hispanic. You know, I don't know. It's Christmas. If you are doing a Christmas commercial, I try to focus. Okay, Hispanic. Some of them open the presents at night. Some of them open it during the morning. That's a human truth that is different. So I try to put people that understand that.
Y si es una familia latina, van a ver un montón de personas en el Christmas.
Claro.
Si
Sí.
es general market, pues quizás hasta los abuelos y los nenes y los papás y se
Sí.
acabó todo.
Sí. Sí.
Okay. Okay. What are some things off the top of your head, como que that makes a self-tape stand out for you?
Well, well, honestly, I try. I don't see. It's really difficult that I see an option and I say, okay, it's this one.
Ajá.
Es un poco por descarte. Primero, I have 150 videos that I have to watch, so I start trimming the options.
Okay.
That's the first thing. I think that okay, from this video, I'm not liking some things that I see. If overacting for me, it's a no.
Dead.
No. So if I see a video that somebody is overacting, then maybe the look is good, and by the look I say, no, I'm not saying if somebody's pretty or not. I'm
Yeah,
saying
it
if it
fits
has
the specs.
exactly, and also I try to see if the character comes naturally to the actor.
Okay.
I don't want to fake an abuelita out of somebody that is not, because I don't have time on set to. I don't have time. The actor doesn't have time to work on the character. It's an ad. We have to do it pretty quickly. I don't know when you get the script. I don't know, the process that the actors have to have, but I know that they have pretty short time. So I try to make my life easier by
Claro.
looking for qualities of the character that I wrote into the actor that I'm going to hire. So for me, it's easier, and I know that it's going to come natural, and I'm going to avoid the overacting with that.
So it sounds like acting is very important. Like if you, and more than acting, like the overacting, which is bad acting, that's the first thing that you go, okay, pa' fuera.
Sí. Salvo que lo necesite, ahí, bueno, ahí lo miro, pero I try to make my life easier in that sense. Another thing that happens, and it's happening more and more often, is I know I have, for example, if we have dialogue, and we have dialogue in Spanish, I know that actors practice the dialogue and they practice the line, but sometimes I change that line. In the process, I change the line. So I like to ask a few questions in Spanish and see how somebody react to it and if they are fluent or not, because the line that I gave you might not be the line that we record on the day of the shoot. So I need to have some wiggle room. I don't need perfect Spanish. But that's me. Some people require perfect Spanish. I think that we are a mix here living. My brother is from New York, is Latino, and speaks nothing in Spanish,
So that's actually, as you were talking, era una de las preguntas como que, oh, I want to ask him about acentos in Spanish, because there's a lot of Latinos that, like, I feel like I look Latina, pero hay personas que parecen, like, look more Latinos, right? We all are Latinos.
Yes.
Es lo que quiero decir de eso, ¿verdad? Pero
Sí.
entonces como que no saben hablar, like English is more their first language, so have more of an American accent. I feel like sometimes actors struggle with that. Or también hay actores de Uruguay, Perú y todas esas cosas. Para mí, yo tengo un acento puertorriqueño porque soy de Puerto Rico, pero tengo que afectar o cambiar mi acento para poder trabajar,
Ir,
¿no?
ir un poco neutro, digamos.
Exacto.
Sí.
Pero neutro quiere decir también mexicano-ish, ¿no?
Claro, pero lo que pasa con eso es que 80% of the Hispanic population in the US comes from Mexican descent.
Yeah.
So we base our decisions in our target audience. The target audience is going to be 80% Mexican, so we need to have a little bit of that nuance there.
Sí.
Of course, we want to show the broad spectrum of Latinos that we are, and that's good, and that's more real. And I always try to push for that. But there's also a business decision behind it that we have to acknowledge or see how we work with it.
Yeah.
That's why I like to have a little bit of everything on my project.
Yeah.
Then somebody you go with the quinceañera mexicana y Día de los Muertos y calaveritas. No todos hacemos eso.
Claro. See, I mean, I literally neutralized my Spanish. I had to learn how to do that so I could work in the Hispanic market. Otherwise, I wouldn't be hired with my Puerto Rican accent, except for like very specific jobs, right?
I had to change the way I write. I'm Uruguayan. I have we share the accent with the Argentinians, but the way I write is completely different. We put the accent. My natural way of writing is different, and I can only use it in Argentina or in Uruguay. So when I go to Mexico, I change the way I write, so it's easier for everybody to understand. Now, I mean, I was hired in the US because I'm able to change the way I write and the way I communicate. Yeah.
And that's different voices, right? Es como que you're talking in different languages in a way within the scope of español.
Yes, yes. I can do it. I can write it. I can speak it. So I'm not going to speak it in Mexican, but even though I know how to write it, I have a lot of Mexican friends.
Sí, entiendo. So tú una palabra que dices, esa, ok, pues la voy a escribir aquí and I'm going to keep it in my back pocket porque así es que están hablando ahora.
No es complicado, a mí me divierte, en realidad, es porque conozco más. Entonces es como que si tengo más información, tengo más cosas que puedo hacer. Entonces es como un desafío interesante.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And what are some pretty common mistakes you see in self-tapes, especially in car commercials, let's say, because that's what you have been focusing on for a while? What's something that like takes you out of a scene besides overacting or something like that? Like you said, it was like somebody like really being about the car.
Really, yeah. Somebody really into driving, that's not what I look for. Because that's too fake. And then, for example, then another thing, if someone doesn't show me a range of emotions without overacting, I don't know which tools I have to play with. So if somebody is, let's say, monotone and has the same face, how to smile, that's also an issue. So I need to see some range because I need to know that I can tone down the acting of someone. I know that I can make somebody overact. That's kind of easy. But I need to know that I can bring someone down now to the normal level of work. So I need to see some range. And some of the videos that I receive are pretty bland, which sometimes are good, but I need to see the tools that I have. Sí, tengo que ver que el día de la filmación lo van a poder hacer. O I'm able to change something. Because if a scene is not working, we need to change it. And I need someone with a little bit of range to do that.
Okay. And I personally, I teach a commercial class and I try to tell actors, especially if it's not like a crazy long scene or anything, to turn in 2 takes.
Yes.
Because I like to kind of go, I know what they want, and then give them something a little bit different to be able to enseñarles, okay, if you guys go in a different direction, look, I can do it a little bit different.
Yes,
how do you feel about that?
for example, I received 200 videos. I have the slate, I have video
Eso
one.
me está volando la cabeza that you watched videos.
Yes, no, so it's not easy to make a decision that way. I complain a lot because I don't think that we are picking the best fit for roles because we don't have time to do it. I have to watch all the videos. Then I like to take a break, go do something else, then maybe watch my selections. But the times are being crunched a lot. I don't have too much time to make decisions, so I need to see in those two videos that I have ranged, that I have somebody that is not going to overact, or is going to try to steal the thunder of the main character, or what else? Oh, well, the two good-looking people, like really good-looking people, are not real, even though they exist in the real world, but that's not an everyday thing. So if maybe two produce, that's something that I try not to look for, try to make people more relatable in that sense.
So if you're too good looking,
If you are too good looking, look, for example, when I write the castings, I say like not the modeling type.
Yeah, I see that a lot.
I try because models are for one thing, and actors and people for commercials should be more down to earth. You can be pretty, it's not that. But if in the video I see a model doing poses and giving me that kind of modelly look, no, I don't need. If I don't need a model for the project, I'm probably gonna go and see other options.
It's interesting porque hay veces que las personas, hay una modelo that does really well modeling and then they're moving into commercials because their agents like, you can make some money off commercials, and it's a whole different animal where you have another skill set that you need to do. Just like if I were to model, like there's certain skill sets that I would have to learn. And I wouldn't even know where to start that. You know what I mean? So hay veces que las personas piensan como que, no, it's the same thing. It isn't.
No, bueno, hay modelos de pasarela, hay modelos de foto,
También.
hay modelos de manos, cada uno tiene su lugar, y yo, los actores que elijo, trato de que no sean tan lindos, tan universalmente
just like
lindos.
a person you can relate to, más que nada.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. What do you think is something that actors do not know or you wish knew about commercials?
Well, probably the time we have to check the video. That's something that it has to be straight to the point. I mean, yeah, that gives some range if you can. The other thing that I don't know is, for example, when you get if you get a script, you get a script, you don't get a script. I assume you get a general idea of what I'm going to do until it's the day of the shoot, probably, or after the callback.
No, we actually, well, it depends. If there's lines, we do get a script.
Okay.
And we do get like, it depends. Sometimes it's like, hay los cuadritos con la little like photo and then the words in the bottom.
Okay.
Son cositos así.
Okay.
O también hay veces que son like the lines and then like a little bit of action in between. And if there's no lines and it's more of a general thing or whatever, then it's more improv and you're supposed to like come up with that on your own.
Okay. Yeah, when you have to come out for something on your own, I think we are looking for some range. Well, that's what I believe. If it's free, then I think the best way to go is try to give a little bit of range and see what you're able to do. If you have to deliver a line, keep in mind that the line might change. You can say one line perfectly, but that might be an issue later on.
I'm so glad you're saying that because I feel like a lot of times los actores se ponen tan como que strict about like la línea y que, ay, no hice la línea exactamente así. And it's like, tú ahora mismo me estás diciendo Que la línea lo más seguro es que va a cambiar, so don't stress out too much about it as long as you get the general idea of it, right?
Yes, I mean, is the acting. Then the line, we might record it later. We can do a voiceover and record it later. Usually, sometimes the line doesn't work on camera, so I take the actor to a van with the sound people, and we re-record all the lines again so we can do it. So it's more about the acting and the delivery rather than say it perfectly.
Okay.
I do believe that I don't think in my, I don't know, I think like last 3 or 4 projects, I don't think that the casting agencies are giving the right directions to the actors for the videos that I'm receiving. I see so many people dancing and in spots that no one is going to be dancing. So I don't know why they are asking people to dance sometimes. It's so weird. I don't know. Some casting agencies, yeah, ask people to do things that I don't need. But maybe they try to give me this range, but I don't need the range if you can dance or not. I need the range in the acting, in the nuances, in the little movements of the face. If I had to do a reaction, I don't need that much thing.
So you're saying that in the game of telephone, from your idea to casting, to what
Exactly
is
that.
here with actors,
Yeah.
mucho puede pasar, es lo que estás diciendo.
Mucho, sí. Puede cambiar, cambia bastante. Tuve un spot que la gente estaba adentro del auto y me dieron 300 videos de gente bailando. Pero van a estar todos dentro del auto.
Y no hay nada de bailar ahí.
No había nada de bailar. Entonces recibo 5 videos de un actor, lo tengo en uno escalando, en otro bailando, y este tipo va a estar solo dentro del auto, nada más. Entonces me vi todos estos videos y no los necesito.
So tú me estás diciendo a mí que las instrucciones de los casting, the self-tapes, is written by the casting office, correct?
Yes, I don't get a chance to see what they ask the actors to do for the casting videos.
Okay.
I get to be on the callbacks, and then we give direction and everything, and we can see it. But we are seeing it live, which is different to see it on video. Then later, somebody that I see at the callback and it's amazing, I see the video and it's not that good. But at least when I'm at the callback, you get a little bit of the energy of the person, you get the confidence. That's something that's also good, and you know that you can ask them something different, for example, and they can react properly to that. Yeah.
Are you doing Zoom callbacks or are you in the room?
No, usually in the room.
The room? Qué bueno, because I just had a callback and I actually booked it, but when everybody's on Zoom, you're doing something and it was a comedic spot, right? And you're doing something which I was like, this shit is funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pero como que hay silencio. When there's people in the room, you kind of get a little bit of feedback, you know?
Yes.
And then in the actual, like when we were doing the fitting, one of the agency people like saw me and she was like, oh my God, that shit was so funny. Like we were laughing. Y al lado mío, everybody's muted. So I had no idea. So
yes. I try to be muted all the time because we speak, we are talking to each other.
sí.
I mean, this is maybe gonna make somebody nervous, but we are always talking about everything that is happening. Okay, this option has the look is great. Maybe I don't know. Maybe we need to shave this guy, the beard, trim it. So we are always talking. So probably we're on mute, looking at the videos and talking on the chat. Yeah.
And for us, it's just like crickets, and we're just like,
yes.
You know what I mean?
Okay. But the cricket doesn't mean anything. It's not either good or bad.
You just got to do what you got to do, and like that's it. But I'm so grateful for you sharing with us. Like, look, we're in a rush. I get 200 tapes. I'm trying to do my best to like look at all of them. That also lets me know that the first 5, 10, 15 seconds of the spot needs to be self-tape, has to be really interesting for you to kind of like keep watching. And variation is also really important as well.
Yes, yes, for sure.
Okay, okay.
For sure.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for your time, your insight. All of this was really helpful. And I feel like every time that I speak to somebody, I get a like, oh, I didn't know that. So
No, but we have different styles also. Of for example, I have my taste, what I want to see in an actor. Then I present that to someone else that has his own taste. Then
And
we
then
made a decision and we go to someone else, you know, that has also a different taste.
yeah,
And between all that, we come out with the options, and then we go to the clients who have a different taste. So there are many people involved in this that have different opinions. And sometimes I'm not gonna say that most of the options that I picked are not the ones that end up in the spot, but there are really a lot of steps before picking someone.
yeah. And it sounds like every group might have their own like way of working, right? Like one client might work one way, and then there's another client who's gonna work completely different. And it sounds like it's an alive experience, right? Like it's happening in the moment, and you guys are figuring it out, and it's moving, and we're the actors y estamos como que,
Sí.
y ahí sale la florcita.
Sí, a mí me gusta darle al director más poder del, because for me, the casting process is a test also to see the vision of the director coming to life before going to shoot something. Because usually when you have a commercial, you shoot either 1 day, 2, 3 is something crazy, really big, and a week is, I don't know what you're shooting, but you're gonna spend millions of dollars. So that also depends. And I'm also focusing on cars, something different.
Yeah.
I don't get too many, let's say, comedy beats
Yeah.
or acting. I get more a slice of life kind of thing.
Gotcha.
What I'm
Because
looking
of essentially what you're selling or like what you're presenting, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you again for your time. I really
Oh,
appreciate it.
thank you. Anytime.
Thank you guys for watching, and let me know what you think about this. Give me some insight. You can leave some comments if anything. And thank you again, Federico, for your time.
Thank you. I hope this helps.
Gracias.
No, gracias. Nos vemos.